Call the meeting to order. And ask Dr. Diggin to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Jester?
Here.
Ms. Ronio? Here. Ms. John?
Here.
Mr. Sharon?
Here.
Dr. Shute?
Here.
Colonel Waters?
Here. Thank you. Special guests and special recognitions tonight.
We have with us tonight from Teach for America. They're going to do a presentation for the board to give a little more information about this program. And as I will go ahead and have the three of you stand and I will introduce you. We have, first of all, Leslie Doherty. She is the Managing Director of Growth, Development, and Partnership. Second, we have Lance Tackett. He's the Executive Director of Teach for America in Oklahoma. And finally, we have Krista Camp. She's the manager for District and School Partnerships. And we will just let you all start.
All right. I will take it from here. Excited to have some time to speak with you all tonight. Just talk a little bit about Teach for America and kind of our exploration of a partnership with Lawton Public Schools. We know that one of the things that we've been talking with a lot of superintendents across the state about is actually the teacher shortage in Oklahoma right now, and we certainly know that that's hitting Lawton Public Schools as well. And so we know that we may actually have it can be one partnership in working with LPS to solve that. So a little bit about Teach for America. We have been around for about 24 years as an organization. We're a national nonprofit. We are Teach for America Oklahoma, so we are focused on the state of Oklahoma. Have been here in OK for about 5 years, predominantly out of Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and are going to be expanding to multiple rural and other communities next year. I think we'd probably put Lawton under the other, given it's a big city compared to a lot of our other rural communities across the state. So what Teach for America does is we really work with children growing up in poverty, making sure that they are provided an excellent education and access to an excellent education. So we've had about, right now we have over 50 regions, Oklahoma being one of them. We teach about 750,000 students across the country, have over 11,000 of our teachers, which we call core members, and about 32,000 people who've gone through Teach for America. We really have two aims to our organization. One is immediate impact on student achievement, and then building a leadership force to enact greater change for children growing up in poverty. So last year, about 57,000 people applied to Teach for America nationwide. And we admitted about 14% of those folks, and then about 11% actually made it through our training and into a classroom. So we have a pretty robust pool. And I think one of the things that's unique is that we look for leadership attributes. We look for people who've exhibited immense leadership in their lives, perseverance, achievement, grit, critical thinking skills. So our application process for our core members goes about 2 months through online application, phone screen, and about a 6-hour all-day in-person interview where we kind of assess these different competencies. Harvard has done multiple studies on Teach for America showing that you can actually correlate some of these certain characteristics of the individual before they even enter the teaching profession to that of student achievement. So a couple of the things that we do for a district. We basically help recruit on a national landscape. One of the things we've talked with different districts around the state is that it's actually hard for a district the size of LPS to recruit nationally to help build their applicant pool for their district. So we will do that partially on your behalf. We also, all of our teachers go through about 600 hours of professional development before they come in to LPS. And so we basically will say, if you have a need for 10 teachers, we will give you 10 teachers, highly qualified, guaranteed to teach in LPS, and that would be part of our partnership. So it's almost like a guaranteed set of teachers or one pipeline that you all would consider, along with other traditional pipelines that you certainly have every year. We also make sure, again, providing professional development, that our teachers are certified, And then we also provide ongoing support into the first 2 years that they teach in your district. So I think we all know that no matter where you teach, and I'm sure there's a lot of educators in the room, it is very hard. Teaching is very hard. And so we provide ongoing professional development support for their first 2 years. So we provide about 100 hours of professional development in their first year and their second year. We also provide a coach who will be in LPS classrooms, coaching our teachers, working in partnership with principals to ensure that they're doing everything they can for student achievement in their particular classrooms. So just to give a little bit of flavor to what some of our core members have been accomplishing here in Oklahoma, Nikki DeMoss, one of our core members in Tulsa, they switched schools about 3 months into the school year, and for the remaining 6 months that she had, her kids grew about 1.6 years in reading growth. Carly Scher at Webster High School, the year before Carly taught there, about 46% of kids were proficient in Algebra 1. Her first year teaching there, 97% of kids were proficient. Go to U.S. Grant High School in Oklahoma City. In his first year teaching, Lam Pham took his students from about 8 or 9% of kids were were advanced in geometry, and he had about 97% were advanced in geometry, and he took kids from 79% proficient to 100% proficient or advanced. And so we've seen drastic results from some of the folks that we've brought into Oklahoma schools already. You know, we survey our principals every year. We want to make sure that they're excited and happy to continue our partnership, and that's definitely been the results that we've seen. So folks have been very happy with the performance of our TFA core members, our pipeline into their district. They've said in many instances that principals believe not only are our core members having a positive difference, that they have an equal or greater impact to other first-year teachers, and definitely about 90% said that they would definitely hire core members again for their school. And so a big part of Teach for America, again, is not only are we having an immediate impact on student achievement, the here and the now, but we're also making sure that we are catalyzing a force of leaders who really understand education and understand some of the challenges that kids growing up in poverty face. And so we've only been in Oklahoma for about we're in our 5th year now, and from that we have 2 principals, 6 assistant principals, 7 people now working in the district office or at the State Department, and we have 38 of our core members and alumni who are now in a school leadership pipeline here in Oklahoma. So because of our selectivity on the front end, we really get people who have a strong bent towards leadership. We've definitely seen that play out, of people not only going above and beyond in the classroom for their kids, but actually moving into roles like department chairs, grade level chairs, assistant principals, principals, and beyond. And so that's all part of our partnership, is actually building a pipeline of leadership at all tiers of the school district, not just at the classroom level. Just one example of one of our 2009 core members who has now been an assistant principal for 2 years in Tulsa. Another one, Mark Noterson, is one of our 2009 first-year core members in Tulsa, is now working in the TLE department at Tulsa Public Schools. We also have 2 area superintendents in Tulsa that we help the district recruit out of the state to come in and help oversee 8 to 10 schools within the district. So we also play kind of a national recruitment function for all levels within the district, not just starting as teachers and moving them up, but actually finding people who are tenured, ready to take on more of those senior roles if they were to be vacant, and the district wanted that partnership with recruitment. So basically the way that the partnerships work is the district would work with us to say, we know that we have X amount of vacancies every single year. Teach for America, we only place where vacancies exist, and how can we become one among many consistent pipelines to the district? And so we would work with you all to agree upon what's the right number to partner, and we would hope that we would actually partner with you every year, and it would be an ongoing partnership. The district is the employer of the teachers, so really they are your employee. You would pay their salary, their benefits, the exact same as any other first-year teacher in your district, and then we basically raise the funds to make sure that we can provide additional capacity to LPS in terms of providing additional coaching support, being in classrooms, all those hundreds of hours of professional development. We would cover a lot of those expenses. And I'll say I will open it up for questions. I'm sure there are a few.
Thank
Yep.
Okay, so are you a not-for-profit, or are you a for-profit?
We are a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
Yep.
And so then we don't actually pay you a fee for this?
And so the one thing that we do have a partnership with the district is the district would pay several $1,000s per corps member that you do take to help offset our recruitment, selection, and training costs. But then all other costs, we would actually raise those funds on your behalf, so you wouldn't worry about those.
Your recruits, what benefits do they get for going into the program?
Yeah, so I would say, most of the benefits is we have a robust recruitment team around the country, so we recruit at the top 400 universities in the United States and are pretty aggressive. I can tell you myself, I was a first-generation college student. I thought, like most successful first-generation college students, I was dead set on, I have to go to law school. That's just what I have to do. And, was a lobbyist in California, and Teach for America came along and convinced me to move to Charlotte, North Carolina to teach high school. And I actually hadn't considered a pathway into education. And I told a few folks and some of your principals earlier today a little bit about that, but, my high school in North Carolina had about 2,000 kids. 1,080 were still freshmen. About, I'd say the vast majority of my kids were third, fourth grade readers, nearly 6 years behind grade level. And by the end of my first year teaching, they grew about 2.3 years in reading. So I think Teach for America saw something in me in terms of leadership, and then helped me transfer that into being successful in the classroom and doing whatever it takes for kids. And because of my experience at Teach for America, I will spend the rest of my life in education and couldn't imagine doing anything else. So I actually do think our generation is looking to do something that is incredibly meaningful beyond themselves, and I think teaching is one of those things. And I think we've done a good job of helping people kind of see that.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you all very much.
Thank you all very much. Yep.
I do want to recognize Barbara Ellis for, reaching out. We are in a teacher shortage, and it is serious, and she is beating all the bushes and not leaving any, and I don't want to say stone unturned, but she is making sure that we're staffed. We've come through better than most districts our size, any size in the state. We're doing really well, and it's because of programs like this and people like Barbara Ellis. So, thank you all very much.
I wanted to ask you, I know that we need special ed teachers, and so do you have pathways that they can go into different areas like special ed?
Yeah, so we place corps members from pre-K through 12th grade, including mild, moderate special education. At this time, we're not able to place in severe and profound, given some of the extra training requirements that we don't feel best at to fully support. But definitely place in special education. We've seen amazing results in this business.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Do we have architect's report tonight?
We have no architect's report this evening.
Departmental report.
For our departmental report, we're going to invite Ms. Teresa Jackson back again. She was here at our last board meeting, and if you remember, we're going to have a Reading Sufficiency Act update each month through the rest of this fiscal year for sure. It's a big issue. It's on the mind of all our parents, and it's definitely on the mind of all of our teachers. So I will thank Ms. Jackson and let her take over.
Good evening. In preparation for Senate Bill 346, up to this point for the first semester, 25 days of professional development has been provided covering the law and its requirements, literacy first assessment requirements, response to intervention strategies, and documentation requirements for the district's K-3 teachers, to include the special ed teachers, Title I reading specialists, and the Title VII tutors. Also, the third grade teachers were provided instructional strategies to be used into their classrooms. These training days were presented by the district's instructional literacy coaches. In addition to the professional development training days, 3 of the instructional literacy coaches, Sarah Toddy, Susan Nance, and Katie Cox, are assigned to support all 23 of the elementary schools. We have those divided by Sarah has 8 schools that she serves, Katie has 8 schools, and Susan has 7. They go in and they help the teachers with the requirements of the assessment, the documentation requirements, the timeline of the law, because you have to do certain things at certain times, and instructional support. Ashley Lahow is assigned to all 23 schools. She is our special ed coach. She goes in and helps the special ed teachers, mainly concentrating this year on third grade because of this law. In addition to this law, the special ed students will no longer have the OMAP test to take, and that's the modified state assessment. They will be taking the regular OCCT test. So she's helping the teachers with strategies and transitioning in to that area along with this reading sufficiency law. Jane Springley, she is also assigned to all 23 of the schools, and she goes in and helps them with the writing requirements as well as the instructional standards that they have to meet. Trina Mincy, she is assigned to Jackson and Wilson Elementary due to their grades from the State Department, and she supports those teachers with the instructional standards through technology and following through with strategies that the teachers use within the classrooms. The instructional literacy coaches, they offer continuous support for all of the teachers in all 23 of the elementary schools. And at this time, we are meeting to plan our professional development for second semester to further meet this law that we have to do. So, is there any questions? Or?
Have you been able to help them with the problem that they're having with the not enough hours in the day to take care of the special instruction?
Well, other than creating more hours, no. I mean, what they do is they go in and they do help them, with some planning and try to relieve some of that pressure. We have had several that are out on maternity leave or sick leave or, something of that. So the coaches have gone in and done the second round of literacy first assessment, for their kids because, this substitutes aren't trained to do that. So they go in and they help. Or some of the teachers that have larger classrooms, they're going in and assisting them with that, which also relieves a lot of the pressure. So.
Have we been able to find assistants and other teachers to come in and help fill those time gaps especially the ones that have several that didn't hit the benchmark in the first tests?
Well, what they do on that, they have the APP, the Academic Progress Plan, that's filled out if they don't master the Literacy First Assessment. So the coaches go in after each testing segment, and they check what we call the red folders. That's the portfolios that this law requires. We chose to do red folders because they're the same everywhere. And you can go in and pull the red folder so you know exactly what it has. They go in and check that, and if there's any discrepancies or if the teacher needs any help with that, then they provide that assistance as well. So, we're giving them, all the support that we can. There's 6 of them, and they go out. They travel a lot, and they provide, a lot of help to them. And then the trainings that we have as far as the instructional trainings, when those teachers leave us, they go back and they have those lessons ready to implement. They can teach them that afternoon or the next day or whatever. So we give them the hands-on, it's already made, and they're ready to teach those strategies.
I don't know if you all caught it in the paper recently, but it was this week, or was Sunday's paper, about reading sufficiency. It was kind of a summary of that, and it's a big issue. And again, 90 minutes of uninterrupted instructional reading time, for first graders. But the beautiful thing is, we're just tackling it, and our teachers are facing it, and with the help of Ms. Jackson, I think they're gonna we're gonna be fine. But just wanted you all to be aware of that as it comes up through the year. We don't know what's going to happen legislatively, but we're dealing with the reality of what it is today. So. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Item number 7, report of the superintendent.
All right, under item A of my report, I have consideration and action concerning the FY13 district budget, and it's the district budget audit. And I will ask our auditor, Mary Johnson, to come to the microphone, and she will walk us through that.
I had to talk about the budget. I did not come prepared for that. I believe you received an electronic copy of the audit report this year. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd like to highlight just a few things, and then if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. The audit report you will find on page 1. And for those that are familiar with audit reports, it looks a little different this year than it has in the past. There are now headings for each paragraph that describe to you what each section of the audit report is covering. The wording is really not any different than in the past, but it is split up a little differently to let you see both what management's responsibility related to the financial statements are and what the auditor's responsibility is. Then you'll notice that the opinions paragraph is plural, and the reason for that is, as a reminder, the district has several financial reporting units that we give opinions on. One is the district-wide financial statements related to the district as a whole. Then there are the major funds at the fund level, which are reported based on size, and then all the other funds are aggregated together. So that is why it says opinions instead of opinions. You'll also measure terminology now. We no longer use the words clean opinion. It's now called unmodified. The reason for that is should there be anything that we report to you as a part of the audit report, there would be an additional paragraph that would describe what those modifications are. So watch for that terminology change as you go down and see other audit reports. The report also refers to other sections of the audit and the level of coverage that we gave it in terms of audit opinion or not. There's a section called required supplementary information. That requirement comes from the Governmental Accounting Standard Board. And the most important part of that section is the management discussion and analysis section. I'll point that out to you because it is not very long. It kind of recaps the financial statements to you in English terms, and no one but me really cares about the other 50 pages in detail, so it's a good part to look at. The last paragraph, and then it also talks about other information, which is some additional supplementary information that we provide to you on some of the other funds that are included in the report. The last paragraph of the report refers to the second audit report that is included at the very back of the audit report. It's required under government auditing standards and by state law that we issue a report covering internal control and compliance of the district. The work that we do on internal control is not to give you an opinion, but to bring to your attention any areas that we may note during the audit that require communication in writing to you. And we did not have any of those to report at this level. We also do work on compliance with contracts, grants, and state law, and we did not have any matters that required reporting within the report to you there. And with that, if there's any question, I forgot about the final report. Then the final report is the single audit report that you're required to have because you spend more than $500,000 in federal dollars, and we're required to specifically audit a certain percentage of your major programs. And we had no findings related to the work that we did in that particular area. And then with that, I will leave it to questions if you have any.
From comparing to years past, it appears that this is a very, very clean report.
It is, and I will caution you that the fact that there aren't any conditions in there is not a good or a bad grade card necessarily. It just relates to we do different things every year, and sometimes that brings conditions as part of that process, and sometimes it does not. This year we just had nothing that required that reporting to you in writing.
Check type audit.
Well, financial audits are not all-inclusive. They're not what I'll call a fraud audit where you look at 100% of everything. A financial audit looks at things from a materiality standpoint, a risk standpoint, and we try to rotate that around to the areas that we consider from year to year based on many factors to be the most risky areas from a financial standpoint for the district. We always look at activity funds. every year because in my mind, that's a very risky area for the district because of the number of people involved. Other areas are going to rotate. And the major programs, the federal programs that we look at rotate every year based on criteria provided by the OMB. And so some of the other things will change from year to year.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. And yes, those of you who've presented, you are free to leave. I forget to remind you, we don't think it's rude. Okay, for item B, we have an information item. This is the district budget update regarding bond fund and city sales tax from Diane Princeton. Oh, we need approval. I'm so sorry. I'm just so eager to go.
Thank you, Mary.
Right.
Thank you, Mary.
Does Mrs. Bonster want to explain any of the corrections or misstatements in the audit findings? Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to. You usually do that for us.
Okay. All right. Some of the things that are noted, and I also responded to those findings. As she mentioned, they are not findings within the audit. They are just some areas in which she felt she needed to highlight them from time to time. And basically, I gave a response to each of them. I won't go over each one of them. But basically, what it comes down to is the fact that when I finish the audit on June 30th, there are some of the areas in which I have to estimate what I feel are going to either be what we are going to expend on that project or how much revenue will come in. When she does the audit, she actually has the accurate information. So there's about a 60-day window that she's doing it and I'm doing it, and that's why she has to update her records. Now, as time moves on, my records would then, if you came back 60 days later and did another audit of my records and her records would then match. That's all that's really entailing. Any other questions? And the other one was, again, we've had it in the past, talking about the activity fund, which she highlighted that a little bit, that it is an area in which we look at every single year simply because of the number of employees that are handling the money, and you're always going to have one or two little things here and there, so they do take the time to audit quite a number of those. And that's always going to happen from time to time. You're just going to have discrepancies. But they are very small, so as she noted that there weren't very many. Okay.
It says that they must deposit funds daily. Do they deposit it to Shoemaker, and then Shoemaker does the deposit, or are they required individually to do the deposits?
The deposits are actually picked up at the school level and go straight to the bank. Okay. The money does not come up here.
Okay.
We get them the following morning. What the law states is that if it's over $100, it has to be deposited every day.
Okay.
Otherwise, it has to be deposited within that week. And I think that's sometimes why they get a little confused with it, because, oh, well, I don't have $100. But we then went the extra mile and asked them, it's not law, but we have asked them to deposit on Friday regardless of what you saw, because we don't want the money left in the school buildings. Because, as we know, we had no school for 3 days. Had it been left, that could have been an additional risk to the money being left at the school building. So we kind of go that extra mile and ask them to deposit on Friday everything they have.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Move for approval.
Second. Call roll, please.
Dr. Schuetz?
Yes.
Mr. Sharam?
Yes.
Ms. Ronio?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Thank you very much.
I'm next. Okay. As we did last year, we're going to do a little series of budget updates on the different funds. We're going to start tonight with page 3, which is our bond fund. And page 3 gives you an accounting of this fiscal year. It lets you know how much money we have left as of December 12th in our bond funds. We have $3.3 million left. Now, as I mentioned when we did the budget back in October, the items that were listed pending to spend the rest of the bond money, there was MacArthur Middle School's HVAC, the Eisenhower Middle School HVAC, the LHS, a partial on the roof at LHS,
That project has been completed. There were some other elementary schools that we had not finished the heating and air conditioning on also. Now, the MacArthur Middle School and Eisenhower Middle School HVAC projects, we have architects already in place for those. We are waiting on estimates to come in, because without the estimates, we really don't know in what direction to guide you all to make the decision as to which projects to do, based on the fact that we're now coming to the end and we only have the $3.3 million. So they'll then have to be prioritized and make the decisions as to which ones of those few left that need to be completed. Okay?
To be clear, that's because as time has gone on, the
Yes.
cost and supplies and materials have
That's
risen, and so
Correct. Thank you.
what we originally
Estimated on
Estimated,
certain
right,
projects.
okay.
That's correct. And on page 4, I also did give you a snapshot of what has been spent in each of the different categories over the entire life of the bond. You can see in what area we spent the largest amount of monies for different projects. And it appears to be in the construction and renovation area. But that just gives you a snapshot of the entire 10-year bond. Okay? Okay, next we'll move to the city sales tax, which is called our municipal fund. Let me start with page 6, and then I'll move back to page 5. Again, here is a snapshot of where we're at. At the top of the page, we have it broken down into 2 parts. Remember, it's the buses and then all the renovations that we have ongoing. And at this moment, we have $1.6 million for the buses, and we have $849,000 for the renovations finished. But notice that of the renovations, the majority of that money that is left is for Geronimo Road / Freedom. Okay? Some of the other areas, as we move forward, we will make adjustments to the columns and move the money back up to the district level. And then at that point, again, decisions will have to be made as to what is the priority at that time to use the remaining funds on that. I will say that, as mentioned, I believe when Dr. Deegan mentioned at the presentation to the City of Lawton, that over the life of the city sales tax, we will be collecting more than we anticipated. If everything plays out, we should collect more than we had anticipated originally. You won't see those figures go up yet, because I try to estimate only the amount of money that will be coming in within a fiscal year. So the increase will not be coming in until the final year, which will be the FY15 year. These figures will then go up from there as revenue comes in. I don't want to put it on the books yet, because obviously it's not going to come in yet in this fiscal year. So we'll wait until FY15 to bring that revenue in, okay? So let's back up to page 5. And again, you can see the different, again, I did the entire life of the city sales tax. You can see what we spent in each of the fiscal years on each of the projects, okay? I wanted to give you a continuing snapshot of everything that we've done over the life of it. And then on page 7, it gives a breakdown of the portion of it that is for the buses. Okay? At the bottom of the page, it says that there's $1.6 million, and you wonder why haven't we gone out for bid. But if you move back up to the top of it, again, it's collected once a month, so that money's not here yet. And with cash flow, you can't hardly go out and get something if the money's not here yet. We kind of wait till we have enough of it to order 3 or 4 buses. I think the last time we ordered 4, I think, right? And we've also had a little bit of a delay on some of those other things. Plus, we also got the money from McMahon. Those figures are not in here. It's in a different place in the budget. I did not want to mingle the 2 sets of money together. Okay? But we're on board to order more buses. And again, that money should also come in. It's a 20-80 split. So again, I feel like that this money is also going to increase, but we won't see that increase again. I won't change those figures until FY15. And next month, we'll do the general fund and the levy. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on page 7,
Uh-huh.
under where it says miscellaneous, radio, tires, tags, et cetera, does that include the surveillance cameras?
Yes.
Okay. And then, if we go back to page 6, you say projects. I see that Eisenhower Middle School is there for $46,450. Is that what was projected to be spent there?
In this fiscal year.
And has it been spent
No.
there? No.
No,
Okay.
nothing under the encumbrance and nothing under the actual.
Okay. So,
That was the balance of whatever the project was years as time went on.
okay. And that's for the HVAC, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But that's what we told the city we would spend?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do. I have one more question.
Okay.
On page, well, it doesn't have a page number. I'm assuming it's 4. What is CH&A?
Central heating.
Central heating. Okay. Okay, because we use HVAC and then CH&A. Okay.
I think that's the way it was in the original bond. So I think that's the way
Okay.
It is, yeah.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Branson. Item C is simply an informational item. I couldn't share this at the last board meeting because it wasn't official yet, but I wanted to inform everybody that Lawton Public Schools Foundation and the McMahon Foundation, there's been an article in the paper recently, did come together in a cooperative effort to fund our new network, fiber optic network that will be district-wide, and the cost of switches was very expensive, $250,000. They partnered, each group donated $125,000. Just seen the most recent estimations of the costs, everything is going to come in perfect. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we want to thank the Lawton Public Schools Foundation and the McMahon Foundation for their generosity.
Thank you very much.
And we, yes. We're going to name the network, the Lawton Public Schools Foundation, McMahon Foundation Network.
Oh, good.
When people log in, they'll be able to see that.
Very long name.
Yes, it is. It'll look better on the screen. You can pick which side to read. All right, any questions on item C?
No.
Okay. Finally, in item D, we have consideration and action to acknowledge a written recommendation from the superintendent to the board to terminate the employment of Ronna Sipe as a teacher assistant and action to set a date, time, and place on the recommendation. We recommend January 9th at 5 o'clock.
Is that after a board meeting, or is that an
It
independent
would be a separate
day?
board meeting. The timeline prohibited us from doing it after the normal board meeting, so we had to do it earlier. January 9th at 5 o'clock will be my recommendation.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And call the roll, please.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Dr. Schuett?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Deegan. Item number 8 is the consent agenda. Do we have any items that need to be removed at this time? None for me.
No, none for me, sir.
None for me. I'm good. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Dr. Schuett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Thank you. Item 9, proposed executive session. Do we need one tonight, Dr. Deegan?
I see no need for one tonight.
Okay.
The board members.
Item 13, superintendent's personnel report.
And under my personnel report, item A, we have vote to approve the employing, promoting, disciplining, or receiving resignations of individual certified and support salaried personnel listed on pages 103 through 104.
Move for approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Dr. Schuett?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Item 14, consideration of any new business. Next regular board meeting date is Thursday, January 16th, here. Do we need to set any additional board meeting dates besides
The January 9th one.
January 9th? Do we have any board announcements?
I do. I have a personal announcement. My son Roger Harley, who is a graduate of Lawton Public Schools, graduated from Oklahoma State with a degree in biology, a minor in chemistry, and a minor in botany.
Wow.
And he's going to take some time off to study for his DATs, his dental admission tests. So
Wow.
just keep our fingers crossed he comes back to Lawton and practices.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
I have an announcement.
Okay.
I want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Especially everybody at LPS. You guys work so hard, and we really appreciate you.
Absolutely. You're here.
Merry Christmas back to you.
Very good. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Dr. Schutz?
Yes.
Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Thank you.